Welcome back to the 5th Platform Builder tutorial. Today we are on page 7 of the manual looking at advanced mode and how to use those tools to create doorways and pipes to help you move around your levels in different kinds of ways. So let's get started. If I start a new project, it's going to ask me if I want to begin in advanced mode. If I choose maybe later, it will take me to simple mode. One thing about simple mode is that there are pop-up messages to help new users of Platform Builder understand what's going on. You didn't see them in the earlier tutorials because I didn't want them distracting us, so I messed with the code and turned them off. I am in fact the developer of Platform Builder, so I can do that. Apart from these pop-up messages, one big difference between simple and advanced mode is that it allows you to use multiple starting points, and with multiple starting points, you are able to connect your levels and overworlds in all sorts of different ways. Apart from these pop-up messages, one big difference between simple and advanced mode is that it allows you to use multiple starting points, and with multiple starting points, you are able to connect your levels and overworlds in all sorts of different ways. By way of example, while we are still here in simple mode, I will drop down my character, give him some ground to stand on. When I click test, I start right where I placed my character. If I place another player 1 and try to test, Platform Builder doesn't like that. You can only have one of each type of player active in your game. Now, if I'm using 2-player co-op, where I have player 1 and player 2, that's another thing. That's fine. I can have player 1 and player 2 because they are different. But in simple mode, I can only have one starting point for player 1 and player 2. Now, this can be nice because it is simple. If I go back to the overworld, drop the character down, set down a level icon, all I have to do is select the level to start in, and we're ready to go. With advanced mode, it gets a little more complex, but we have more options. So let's check it out. If I go to Game Setup, I can do that from the menu, or I can just press P as a hotkey for Game Setup. Select Other Settings and tick Advanced Mode. It will warn me that you can't go back, which is fine. So now we are in advanced mode. Things are a little different. When I go here to place a character, it's going to ask for a spawn ID. Your spawn ID can be any combination of numbers, letters, words, whatever, as long as it is different from any other starting point in your area. I recommend you just keep it simple. We could start with 1, and that could work. But if I click Edit and select the first character, we see that he is also 1, and we can't have matching spawn IDs for player 1 in the same area like this. So let's put this at 2. Get rid of player 2 so it's a little less confusing. If I test now, it will ask me which spawn ID to use. I could use spawn ID 1 or I could use spawn ID 2. So if I do 1, I begin here. And if I test with spawn ID 2, I begin here. If I am making a 2-player game, then I will want both player 1 and player 2 to have the same spawn ID. Now when I test in 2-player mode, it will work with both players active. You should know that these characters on the top are not the only spawn items. You can also spawn characters from pipes. These little green boxes right over here indicate a spawn point for player 1, and these lighter green boxes indicate a spawn point for player 2. The arrows tell you what direction the character will begin moving from within the pipe when the character is spawned. So I could select this for spawning player 1, select the character, there's only one to choose from, so hit select. And let's give it something different, say Philippians, a nice quick read in the Bible. Now we can finish the pipe. And if I hit test and enter Philippians as my spawn ID, the character appears coming out of the pipe. Let me show you how this actually becomes useful. I use spawn IDs a lot in the example file, so let's go there. Here in the overworld, I have a level icon at the very beginning. If I click Edit and look at these settings, the level goes to course 1A right here, and the spawn ID is set to 1. So when I start a new game, it's going to go to this overworld, and then when I enter in this level, it's going to go over here to course 1, and it's going to begin this level from spawn ID 1. These characters right here, player 1 and player 2, they are spawn ID 1, and so that's where this level will start. As you play the game and traverse your way over and across these hills and ladders and so forth, you end up approaching a door. This door is a special item that allows you to move from one area to another. With the edit button still enabled, I can click on the door and go back into the course 1 folder. I'll notice that it is selected to go to course 1B, and again the spawn ID is set to 1. So as I play through this game, it'll take me to course 1B with spawn ID 1. That would be these characters up here. I'll drop down, land in the water, traverse this area around here, go back up after I collect my special item. And now, in order to get back to the original area, there's a different way of doing it. I'm not using a door this time. There's a spring right here, and it will bounce you up to the top of the area. Under settings, one of the area goals is to reach the far top, and when that happens, it will change the area. Here is where you select the area. That area is back to course 1A, only this time the spawn ID is going to be 2. So when we return back to this original course, we begin in spawn ID 2, which is these characters standing right here outside the door. All right, so when I come back, I will appear right here instead of at the very beginning, way over here. I can do that because I now have access to multiple spawn IDs in advanced mode. Another example of spawn IDs would be in course number 2. Here we have a nice little system where you start here with spawn ID 1, you traverse across this water in these pipes, and you end up going down this pipe, which hooks up to this item down here, which will send to course 2B, spawn ID 1. I can press L on my keyboard to get to the level manager as a hotkey, select course 2B. Spawn ID 1 is right up here, and so the characters will begin going through this pipe, go up and over, and then back out now to a different spot. Click Edit here, course 2. Now it goes to course 2C, which is also spawn ID 1. This is where you pick up a new special item over here, and then get your key, and then you go back out. And now it's kind of hidden underneath these tiles, but there's another send spot which will take you back to the previous course we were at. With a different spawn ID, you'll have a spawn ID that'll start you in this spot, moving this way, so you'll go back through the pipes and then you'll send back to your original spot. And so it works like this. It's a real nice system for connecting your levels in different kinds of ways. Hopefully all of that made sense. With multiple starting points, you can have doorways and pipes to go in and out of things. You can construct courses with multiple areas going on with all different places you can go to. You could even disable overworlds entirely from game setup and create your own overworld using an area, and doors that take you to different levels. It's all up to you. The next video will dive even further with the use of secret exits to reveal new pathways and hidden levels for your games. I'll see you there.